Hi, this is Dr. Darren Schmidt at the Nutritional Healing Center in Ann Arbor, and this video is about ligament support, and I'm going to go over 5 different supplements that I carry, and they are for healing joints, and I call them chiropractors in a bottle. So I'm actually a chiropractor, and somebody said this back in the mid-90s at a seminar that I attended, and she was talking about a particular supplement, and I was very offended that somebody could claim that they have a chiropractor in a bottle. But now that I'm more mature, I can understand what she was trying to say. And I actually do very little chiropractic in my office. I've been in practice 19 years. I've been trying to figure out how much help we can provide just with supplements and diet alone, including herbs and homeopathy. And it continues to expand. I continue to find more and more things that I can help people with. And I've been seeing an average of maybe 75 patients a week for 19 years. So I'm going to go over these supplements, but first I'm going to go over typical ligament supplements that you buy online or buy at a health food store. And they have 3 different components or 3 different subjects that they're addressing with their pills. Number 1, they have some sort of a building block, and that would be called like MSM, which is a type of sulfur type ingredient. And then we have glucosamine and chondroitin. And these 2 things were researched pretty well in the 80s and probably earlier, and they're the building blocks for proteins like ligaments, tendons, muscles, joints. And then these typical supplements also have some sort of ingredient to address inflammation, especially an herb like boswellia, turmeric, and then oftentimes some kind of a fruit seed or an extract from a fruit seed. And then lastly, they'll put in some vitamins. They'll put in some ascorbic acid, which is a synthetic vitamin C. They'll put in synthetic vitamin E. And that kind of rounds out the typical thought process with a supplement for joints, arthritis, inflammation in the joints. And that's standard for the way that our researchers think right now, like our conventional medical modern research regarding nutrition and supplements. This is standard, really. It's pretty standard for modern times. But you know, back in the 30s and 40s, our researchers were smarter, and they studied feeding and eating and food and whole foods. So the first 2 supplements I'm going to go over are Ligaplex 1 and Ligaplex 2. These are from Standard Process, one of my favorite supplement companies. Here's a bottle of Ligaplex 2. This has 150 capsules in it, and it comes in a box when you buy it like that. So you just get this out of there, and those are capsules. It also comes in a little glass bottle of 40 capsules. Also comes in a little box like that. So just to let you know what it looks like. So we got Ligaplex 1 and Ligaplex 2. Ligaplex 1 is for an acute painful situation, and Ligaplex 2 is more chronic, meaning more than 3 months old. So if your hands have been hurting for 3 months or more, maybe 6 months, then you need more Ligaplex 2. I'm going to go over the ingredients. And I starred this one and this one. So in Ligaplex 1, which is for the acute traumatic experience, like you twisted your ankle or you have sharp pain right now in your joint, the first ingredient is bone. And bone, when you're a fetus in your mom's womb and you're just a few cells old, there were only 4 cells that existed in your body. One of them was connective tissue cells, which then differentiated into ligaments, tendons, bone, muscles, skin, mucosal membranes. So when you take in bone, you're feeding all connective tissue in your body. Now down here in Ligaplex 2, we have nutritional yeast, and what that is, it's a great source of all the B vitamins, and also liver and rice bran. Those 3 foods supply all 50 to 100 B vitamins, and that's why these are in Ligaplex 2 to address nutritional deficiency lactic acidosis, and that is the cause of most arthritis. Then there's over 200 kinds of arthritis. So if you don't know what nutritional deficiency lactic acidosis is, please watch my earlier videos on the subject. So these have a lot of ingredients in common, and then on the second sheet I'm going to go over how they have different ingredients, one compared to the other. Okay, so they both have bone for connective tissue. They both have the liver for the B vitamins and for addressing lactic acidosis. They both have spleen because you want to have healthy blood. They both have adrenal because you want your body to be able to repair at night, and that's your adrenals. If your adrenals are weak at night, you're not going to repair. They both have kidney because as the body heals itself, it throws off waste, it gets rid of garbage, and your kidneys have to be healthy in order to do that. They both have mushrooms, which has lots of whole food vitamin C and very strong, very good for the immune system. They both have pea vine juice that's been dried and powdered. Pea vine is a great source of whole food vitamin E, which is a tremendous nutrient. These are not antioxidants. The government thinks that vitamin C and E are antioxidants. Absolutely not. These are dynamic, very healthy nutrients. They should almost be called hormones because they're so strong, so powerful. Next we have oat flour. I'm not exactly sure why Dr. Lee put that in there. I still have some study to do. Next we have manganese. Manganese, not magnesium, manganese. It is the #1 mineral for ligament and tendon support. And Ligaplex 1 has over 2,000% of the RDA from manganese for 2 capsules. And then the nutritional yeast with all the B vitamins and addressing nutritional deficiency, lactic acidosis. The ratios are different. The quantities of those foods are different when you compare Ligaplex 1 versus 2, but that's the basis of the ingredients. They both have beetroot, which is good for the gallbladder, so your body's digesting fat, so the tendons are so that the joints can get fats in them. You need fats to lubricate the joints. They both have carrot and sweet potato, which is, just think of all the nutrients in there. I mean, there's over 200 known nutrients in carrots, and there might be 1,000 that we don't know about. But lots of vitamin A in both of these foods, which back in the 40s, vitamin A was known as anti-infective. So it's not a legal thing. You can't say that anymore. But back before the government clamped down on our language and etc., you could actually say that carrot root, vitamin A was anti-infective. Okay, so they both have RNA, which back in the 50s was known to increase circulation to the extremities. Now, the Ligaplex 2 has carbamide, which helps the kidneys more. Carbamide is like turning on the faucet so that your kidneys drain out. And then over here we have Ligaplex 1 has dried buckwheat leaf and seed, which is the best source of whole food vitamin C. And then here we have calcium for Ligaplex 1. When you have an acute trauma, you want to tonify all the tissues, whereas in Ligaplex 2, for a chronic condition, you want to relax the tissues. So he put in magnesium here, calcium here. So Ligaplex 2 for more healing has bovine liver fat extract in it. So the liver ingredient nourishes the liver, but the bovine liver fat cleans the liver. So a lot of arthritis comes from the liver, like a liver dysfunction issue. Then it also has tillandsia, which is Spanish hanging moss, which he discovered growing in the southern part of the United States, and people drank the tea from tillandsia, and it was part of what they did as a normal habit to live long and be healthy. So Dr. Royal Lee put a lot of tillandsia in products designed for continued health as people get older. And then defatted wheat germ, which has tons of vitamin E in it. So there's another product called Glucosamine Synergy from Standard Process, and it has glucosamine in it, like I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, but it also has everything else, all these other nutrients that I talked about. So we're addressing the whole body and the joints, and that's the basis of the Standard Process products. You're addressing the whole body, you're addressing lactic acidosis, and then you feed the organ that needs to be fed. And I'm going to go over all these different products with different videos in the future, and you'll get to understand this better. Now, online you can there are some of these Standard Process products available online, like on Amazon, and Standard Process does not sell to suppliers like that. And so people who sell on Amazon are bypassing the company's policies, because the company believes that you should actually go to a qualified healthcare practitioner, somebody who's studied nutrition and studied herbs, so that you're not guessing. Because, I mean, I've been working with these 19 years, and I'm understanding them more and more. It's not like you just read something like a page or see a video and then understand how these products work. So, and you got to have the diet right. You got to be off sugar. Essentially getting into ketosis a few times a year, if not more. And drugs always cause harm. So if you're on a Vicodin, these don't work. Other opiates cause pain. Within 2 weeks of taking opiates, those drugs cause pain. And there's no supplement that can fix that. And I've tried many times, dozens of times on different patients. So as long as you're on Vicodin or something similar, you'll never get better. You got to get off those medications. Here's 2 products from Systemic Formulas, one of my other favorite companies. One's called Jot for joints, and the other one's called Chiro, like chiropractor in a bottle. So when you look at these ingredients, they have lots of herbs, and then they also have the building blocks. Now, Dr. Wheelwright, Doc Wheelwright, he's the guy who started Systemic Formulas back in the 80s and earlier. His game in life was to travel the world and look for people who were sick and what got them better. He walked China for 3 years. He was in South and Central America for a long time. He was the medicine man for 5 Native American tribes in America's Southwest. And so these are brilliant. And Chiro, Jot. So there's 5 products that I carry. And I carry more, but these are my favorites right here. So if you need help from us, we have online long-distance program. And you have to contact Nikki at my office. Her email is intake@the.nhcaa.com, which stands for Nutritional Healing Center, Ann Arbor.com. So hope this helps you.